What is up, Watch fam? Happy Wednesday, and welcome to this week's collection review. I am Christian from Theo and Harris, and today we're going to be diving into the very vintage collection of a New York watch aficionado. Let's do it. All right, before we jump into it, we'll do a quick wristwatch check. I am wearing Anna's beautiful Pole Router by Universal Genève, a watch designed by the famous Gerald Genta. And then behind the Nautilus and the Royal Oak for Patek Philippe and Audemars Piguet. She has it paired with our T&H Jean Rousseau Sark strap, a matte navy alligator with a beautiful yellow lining. It's an incredible piece. We're very proud of. Check it out on the watch shop at theoandharris.com. Actually, Anna, please put a link in the description so our watch geeks can go take a look at probably the best straps they're going to see all week, if not all year. So let's jump into the collection now. It's a collection by, like I said, a New York watch aficionado named Jacob. He's got a 6-watch collection, and it's absolutely wonderful. Let's start off with his first 3 watches from his great-grandfather. Actually, we've got a photo here of Jacob's great-grandfather holding his grandfather wearing one of the watches that he still has today. First of all, that's an incredibly good photo, like super clear and beautiful. The meaning now behind it, because you get to wear this watch that was manufactured, like you said, at least 1938, is incredible. I mean, that's just surreal, and I'm so glad that you appreciate that. You know, if you think about it, I mean, how many people out there could have access to that kind of piece? You know, not many, but still, how many of those people do actually appreciate it? You know, it's so interesting, you know, especially to look back in the 30s. I think that the consumer culture was so much different than it is now. I mean, if you bought a watch back then, I would assume, you know, because people had so much less, that really meant a lot. Like, it wasn't just, it was a watch. Like, you know, no, that was something that you spend money on. You know, you could have bought something else, bought something more important with, you know. So I think the fact that his great-grandson is still wearing that watch today, I didn't know your great-grandfather, but I would imagine that would mean a lot. So congratulations for letting your great-grandpa kind of live on your wrist. That's amazing. And the super vintage, like, family heirloom watches don't end there. He was also given a vintage Longines and a vintage Kirchhofer or Kirchhofer. Anna's saying Kirchhofer. Now, I don't know anything about that brand, but from the research that you seem to have done, you gathered that your great-grandfather probably picked this up on one of his trips to Switzerland. Not only has this watch lasted this many decades, but it's traveled across the world. If you can only begin to tell what it has seen, I think we'd be in for a hell of a night, right? Okay, so those are your vintage watches. Those are the watches that mean something to you, or not just something, that mean a tremendous amount to you because of what they represent to your family. But now let's talk about what you've gone out and bought. First was a Hamilton Khaki Field, which you admittedly overpaid for at Tourneau. But still, I think that the first automatic watch someone buys is a really emotional moment. Something that you'll look back on in, 5, 10, 20, 30 years when watches are undoubtedly still a major part in your life, and say to your niece or nephew or child, this was my Hamilton. You know, this is the first watch that I grabbed and picked up and said, whoa. You know, and that little, story that shows or recounts the awe that got you into this hobby, that could get them into the hobby. You know, that to me is the moment that watches start to make sense. So while, yes, it's a run-of-the-mill Hamilton that a lot of people have, it's the fact that the watch represents what people like you and I fundamentally appreciate about mechanical watches. Next is a watch that you were gifted for your high school graduation, a beautiful Rolex Explorer, 36 millimeters. I can't tell you how much I love this watch. I am incredibly impressed by it every time that I see it or wear it. We've owned a couple here at T&H. We sourced a couple for a few clients. I can't believe how great the proportions are, how beautiful the bracelet is, how it feels unlike almost any other modern Rolex in a way that, like, suits me perfectly. A true Explorer's watch should be reliable and totally unobtrusive. And I think 36 millimeters is the perfect size to achieve that. And finally, your most recent watch, a watch that you have traded to get to, a Rolex Sea-Dweller. The opposite of unobtrusive, a reference 16600, one of the most underdog appealing Rolexes in my opinion, a watch that I on paper should not like, but every time I get my hands on one, I can't help but to be in love. You've got it on a beautiful oyster bracelet. I wonder if you've ever tried it on a rubber strap before. That's how I've tried it on, and gotta be honest, that watch still kind of haunts my dreams. That's the perfect summer like sports watch. Try it on a black or a gray or a blue or a green rubber like tropic strap, and I don't think you'll ever regret it. So that's what you have. That's your collection. It's very diverse. It makes it very clear that you appreciate so much about vintage watches. So my recommendation is that for your next watch, you go vintage for the first time. Now, whether that means going with a Datejust or a 34mm date, I think that you have all the makings to be a very serious and passionate vintage watch collector. And since you've got that strong Rolex modern backbone, you're never going to have to really worry about reliability and durability. You can leave your vintage 34mm date at home and take your Sea-Dweller on vacation. Thank you so much for sending your watch collection, and thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel at Theo and Harris. Take care.